Hello everyone! Welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed our segments last week, and so we're going to continue to give you timely tips on Facebook Live of some gardening that you can do at home. Remember to put your questions or comments in the box. Use emojis. We love to see those reactions. Let us know where you're from. We'd love that information as well. So, this week is a lot different than last week. Mother Nature kind of threw the winter switch back on for us on Sunday when we got all that snow, and it's been kind of chilly compared to the beautiful weather we had at the end of last week. But hold on a little bit, a few more days. It will get nice again, and at least it's really nice to see the sun come out today. So I'm kind of lucky. I'm in a greenhouse, so even though it's chilly outside, it's nice and warm in here, and the sun is shining. So today we're going to talk about summer flowering bulbs. And so summer flowering bulbs are an easy thing to start now inside your home, and then you can bring them outside once the weather warms up. And so there's lots of different summer flowering bulbs that you can choose from. And so some are more appropriate to be planted in sunny locations. So such as your gladiolas, lilies, everything in the dahlia family, which we'll talk about a little bit, cannas with great foliage and then that beautiful spike of a flower that comes up. And then there's some summer flowering bulbs that are more appropriate for a shade location. And so that would be your caladiums, elephant ears, and begonias. And remember, a sunny location is one that requires at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, direct sunlight a day. And a shady location is one that has less than that 6 hours of direct, more in that 4 hours of direct sunlight a day. So today we are going to talk about and demonstrate planting a dahlia. But the philosophy for planting all these other summer flowering bulbs holds true. So whether you're planting a gladiola or a caladium, you would follow the same theory and process as we're going to do for the dahlia today. So first of all, you're going to start with a container. And here I just have a 12-inch plastic container. And these summer flowering bulbs that you plant, you can either keep them in the container all summer long and display them on your patio that way, or you can just start them in a large container and then transplant them into your garden or your perennial garden once the weather warms up. So most dahlias come packaged 1 or 2, and in a nice big container like this, when we're just starting out, we can put usually 2 of those dahlia tubers in a pot. So we're going to fill our container with good Bachman's potting soil. And the potting soil is a combination of perlite, vermiculite, peat moss, and good dirt. So we've filled the container about 3/4 of the way. I'm going to add just a little bit more soil to the container. And you want to make sure that your soil is real loose, not too compact in the pot. And then today we're going to plant this beautiful cactus dahlia. And I picked it because I really liked the colors of the kind of reddish orange and yellow. It reminded me of the sunshine, and I thought it was quite beautiful and colorful. So on all the back of the packages, there's excellent planting information on them. So first of all, it'll tell you how tall the dahlia will get. So at maturity, this one is going to get 36 to 48 inches. So it's quite a tall dahlia. Very similar to like dinner plant dahlias that have those big heads too. So as these continue to grow, you will need to stake them. Then it'll also tell you that you plant it with a depth of 4 to 6 inches. So that's why we only filled our pot about 3/4 full, because we need to plant them a little bit deeper. So when you open up your bag of tubers, probably one of the most common questions I get is when people pull it out is, which way is up, right? It is not a silly question. It's very common. And so when you take it, you want all kind of the dangly tuber part and the roots to go down. You can see kind of the stalk from where the flower was last year, and you'll usually see a little bit of growth coming out that too. So the stalk and where the growth is, that's up. And all the little danglies and roots go down. So we'll just nestle that in the pot, and we'll take our other tuber out as well. So here you can see kind of the tuber roots, the stem, and then the new growth coming up. So we'll put that in. So here you can see how these two little tubers are nestled in the soil. And then we're going to add some more potting soil on top of it to get it down to a depth of 4 to 6 inches, which is what it said on the back of the package. Now you can plant these indoors like we're doing right now, like I said, or once the temperature warms up enough outside, which will probably be mid-May, you can plant them right into your garden as well. And the same planting rules apply. But if you want to get a jump start on it and get them so you get flowers maybe a little bit earlier, then go ahead and plant them in a container inside your house right now. So we've added more soil on the top, so you can see they're planted about 4 to 6 inches deep. And then we're going to add just a little bit of water to the top of it. You want to water it so it's evenly moist, but don't overwater them, or the tuber will stay soggy and could potentially rot. So you just want to keep it evenly moist, but not sopping wet.
Susie, we have a question from Christy.
Oh, a question! Yay!
She's wondering if the tubers will grow just one dahlia, or if several will sprout from each tuber.
So Christy's question was, will the tuber just sprout one dahlia, or will it be multiple? So the tuber will produce one plant, but that plant will have multiple stalks and multiple flowers. And then over the summer, the tuber itself is going to grow, and it will be bigger when you get to the fall. And we'll talk about how you winter them over in just a bit now. So once you have them planted, then you want to put this pot in a really sunny spot and a warm spot in your house. So look for those southwest window exposures where you can put this pot in a nice sunny warm spot. And in a few weeks, keep watching it. If it dries out, then continue to water it. In a few weeks, you're going to start to see some stems come up and leaf sets growing, and your dahlias are starting to grow. And as those stems come up and the leaf sets come out, once you have multiple leaf sets, so your stalk coming with leaves coming out, once you have multiple on the stem, you want to pinch off that top leaf set, and that will promote a bushier plant rather than just a single stalk straight up that's like a skinny. It'll bush it out and give you a bushier plant. Then once the temperatures have warmed, I'm hoping mid-May, but remember, Mother Nature gets to decide that for us, but our average last frost date is usually somewhere between May 10th and May 15th. Then you can move these outdoors. And so you'll want to put your pots outside during the day, let them acclimate to the temperatures. Don't put it in a super sunny spot right now, because even though it's in a very sunny location in your house, that light is still filtered. So you want to put it in a filtered outdoor light for a few days to acclimate it. Put it out for a few days, bring it in at night, and then once those evening temperatures are warmer in that 40 to 45 degree range, then you can leave them outside in the pot, and you could underplant it with something else, or just have it be a beautiful pot of dahlias, or you can plant them in your garden. And they will continue to produce blooms and flowers all summer long. Do remember that when the flower is spent, to remove the flower, because removing that spent flower will encourage more flowers to come. So the more you snip, the more you cut, the more you harvest, the more you get. And dahlias are beautiful cut flowers, so feel free to enjoy some of them in your garden, but cut some too, not just because they're spent, and bring them inside your house too, and create beautiful flower arrangements inside as well. Depending on the type of dahlia, if it's one of these cactus dahlias or the dinner plate dahlias, and it says on the back of the package the height that they get. If it's a very tall dahlia, you will need to stake it, and you can just use a bamboo stake to stake it so it doesn't get floppy or tip over. Dahlias do have really strong stems, but those dinner plate dahlias, they are true to their name, and those flower heads get really, really large, so you'll want to stake those. That's also true oftentimes for gladiolas as well. In order to have a really straight stem on that gladiola, sometimes you'll need to stake those as well. The newer varieties of gladiolas do grow pretty straight, but if you see them twisting, put a bamboo stake on them, and then you'll get that nice straight gladiola.
Susie,
Another question.
Yep, we have another question from Jane. She's wondering what the difference is between a bulb and a tuber.
Okay, so Jane's question is, what is the difference between a bulb and a tuber? And so a tuber, they're all types of root forms. So a tuber is a type of root form, just like a potato is a tuber. And then with a bulb, like a tulip bulb, that is more like a seed, where it has stored energy. But they're all just, the rhizomes and the tubers, they're all modified root system that has that stored energy and the bulb to produce the flower, which segues us nicely into what we're going to do in the fall when these die back, because we need to dig up those tubers. These summer flowering bulbs will not survive the winters in Minnesota. So once we have a hard killing frost in the fall, your plant is going to get real droopy. And so typically we'll have a killing frost at night, and then within a day or two, the plant just starts looking really quite sad. Let the plant completely droop. And I know sometimes this is hard because they don't look pretty, but really let the foliage droop, because what it's doing is it's taking all the energy from the plant and it's bringing it back down into that tuber. Then you're going to cut off the stalk about 3 to 4 inches above the soil line and dig up the tuber. Place them on some newspaper or maybe a paper bag in a cool and not a direct light area, and let them dry out for a few days. And then you're going to either place them inside that paper bag or maybe a shoebox with some really dry potting soil, and put them in a dark, cool spot in your home. And then the hardest thing is to leave them there and remember that they're there. So a year from now, you bring them back and you can pot them and grow them. And when you dig up your tubers are going to be bigger. Sometimes there's natural break spots on them, and so the one tuber that you planted maybe is a larger tuber the next year, or you can break it into a couple different tubers and have more plants. So like I said, the same theory for planting caladiums or dahlias is exactly the same as it is for a dahlia.
Susie, we have a question from Kari, and she wanted a little bit more information on how to divide her dahlia tubers that she's stored over winter.
Okay, so Kari wanted to know. That's great, Kari. You planted some dahlia tubers last year and you're wanting to know how to divide them. There will be kind of a natural break point on these tubers. If you don't see a natural break point, then it's just the one tuber and plant that all again. But you'll see the tuber dangles and the roots coming down, and there's probably a natural break point with some more growth coming off, and then you could break it into two. But if you don't see that, just plant the whole tuber again as one, and then maybe this year it'll grow and produce a little bit bigger. So that is how you plant summer flowering bulbs. It's really quite easy, a great activity to do in your home right now, where you can get a jump start on the season and bring some beauty to life in your garden. Thank you very much.